Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So lately, since I've been posting a lot more, I've gotten a lot of requests from friends and family, but then also from my Instagram about not knowing where to begin with buying makeup, or they like my makeup looks but they don't know how to apply it. So I wanted to do a video of top 10 tips for makeup beginners or makeup enthusiasts, or if you are wanting to get into makeup and you just don't know where to start. So tip number one is the great debate between high-end and drugstore. While I personally have a mixture of both, some people are really like they just go for high-end the entire time, or there is also the people who firmly believe that drugstore is the way to go. And I've noticed that in Canada especially, we have Shoppers Drug Mart that does the drugstore, but then also does a little bit of high-end. You also have London Drugs who has drugstore and high-end, with two different sides. In the States, I noticed that there's Ulta as well that does very well, but then you also have the high-end of Sephora and the MAC stores. So there's a lot of basis on what you should choose. Sometimes with drugstores it's a little bit harder to find something because the employees there may be doing something else, or they may be on the higher end side of like their fragrance and the perfumes, or there's not a lot of testers, or sometimes the displays are just not up to date and they're not cleaned properly and it's very standoffish. Something that I have found. Whether it's high-end, sometimes you go into Sephora and you just see so many women and men full-on glam, and while they look super beautiful, sometimes it's very intimidating and you don't know where to start in those massive stores because there's so many different brands, there's so many different options, and the price tag is pretty big, and you want to invest in some good quality makeup, but you don't want to waste your money. So my makeup collection is actually a mixture of drugstore and higher end. So I usually go to the drugstore first when there's this new makeup trend or fad. And most likely when you see that fad in the high-end stores, there's 95% of the time there will be a drugstore dupe for it. That is actually just as good as quality and lower as the price. But I do definitely use higher end on more makeup that I feel like I should invest in. Which comes into tip 2, so invest in the makeup that you will be wearing consistently. So the top 3 for me are actually the foundation, eyeshadow palettes, and my makeup brushes and sponges. Which comes into tip number 3, so when investing in foundation, please get your face matched with the foundation as well as concealer. This is kind of a hard thing in the drugstores, I find, because like I said, there's sometimes the employee is not there, and then sometimes the try-on tubes are not very clean. And also you kind of playing a gamble. I feel like you'll see a tube, you kind of swatch it on your hand, but you're like, I don't know how this is gonna work, and then so you buy it and you get home and it's like it doesn't actually match your skin at all, and it oxidizes, and the next thing you know, it could be you're out $15, but at the same time it's that you wasted money on that, and then also that you have this unused piece of makeup. So I definitely do recommend to go to the higher end stores for your foundation. So at Sephora, if you actually ask one of the lovely ladies, they actually have these gun that it scans your forehead, your cheek, and then your neck. And then based off of that, it goes off of your undertones and then what you're looking for in foundation. So if you're looking for sheer to light coverage, medium to full, or full on full coverage, then they would able to go in the tablet and find specific brands that have a shade that's similar to you, and then what the ladies would do is that they would match it on your face. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but then they're able to see what you think, and then they also have the full-on mirrors, and then you can kind of ask for more opinions or more recommendations, and they're more than happy to help there. So my tip number 4 is when picking and investing in an eyeshadow palette, you're wanting to find colors that you actually enjoy to wear, but then also some more neutral ones that have more versatility so you can wear them every day. One of my go-to favorites and my go-tos for an everyday look is actually the Naked Tube Basics palette. So what you can see from the palette is that it is a travel size. So there is one shimmery kind of shade, and the rest are these mattes that are more cooler toned. And I find that with my skin type, which is more on the cooler tone side, and also since I have blue eyes, it really makes my eyes pop, but then also gives me a more natural look. If you're wanting to go more larger palette, my favorite right now is actually the Naked Reloaded palette, which is their new neutrals, which is kind of funny to say. But as you can see, there is this crazy wide range of colors. You have the pinkish golds, and then you also have like this really cool pink transition color, or matte, that is matte as well. And then you also have your browns, but then you also have some really cool metallic colors right here. And this palette, I find this really great because you kind of get to play around with everything, find your favorites, and then try something new that you didn't think that would work out. But definitely Urban Decay is definitely on the higher side with price, and so actually one of my favorite drugstore brands, or brands that have branched off into their own stores, is NYX Cosmetics. And this guy right here is actually the Warm Neutrals Ultimate Palette. And as you can see from the inside, it's kind of the same as the neutrals, where you have these basic kind of neutral colors. You have some golds, and then you also have some really nice matte transition colors. But then you also have a little bit of like the foily red, and then also some darker colors as well. And I personally picked this out because it was a drugstore dupe for the Naked Heat palette and the Naked Basics Heat palette, because I didn't want to necessarily spend for a wide range of colors that I wasn't going to necessarily use, but I wanted to try more of the warm neutrals and see how it worked with my blue eyes. Tip number 5 is an unknown one that I haven't seen, but I do strongly recommend this, is to keep your makeup clean. And what I mean by that is that on a regular basis, you should be cleaning your brushes and sponge, because they hold up so much bacteria, and that's what you're putting near your eyes and your face. And sometimes what happens is that you break out, or your face is very sensitive. So another point of this, of keeping your makeup clean, is also watching the shelf life of your makeup. So mascara, eyeliner, sometimes lipstick, and foundation, they all have an expiry date of after once you've opened them. Sometimes it ranges from 3 months all the way to 24 months, but just keep an eye out for it, just because if it does go past expiry date, and like I said, it hones in on bacteria as well, which can cause trouble for your face, but also really importantly your eyes. And I definitely learned my lesson in high school, because I was holding on to a tube of mascara for over a year, and unfortunately the bacteria got caught up and I got pink eye from it. It was very embarrassing, but then also realizing that this is something that I'm holding near my eyes, this is something that is very close to my eyes, and something that I'm wearing almost every single day, and I should be keeping it clean. And that goes the same with eyeliner. So a lot of times with the liquid or felt tip pens, they usually dry out about 6 months in, so it's always good to kind of change those out. So I usually always purchase my eyeliners, like my eye pencils that are kind of like the kohl smudging out, and then also my mascara from drugstore, just because I will be changing them every 3 to 6 months, and that they should be changed so they don't hold into bacteria. So one of my favorites mascaras is actually the L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black. They also have a primer for it to make your eyelashes very big and voluminous. And what I find about this is that as you use it more, it doesn't necessarily dry out, but it's at that really great price point that I know that's good quality, and that I just make sure I always buy a new tube every time when it hits the 3-month mark. And as well with keeping your makeup clean, keep your face clean of makeup as well. So make sure every day, every night once you take off your makeup, that you're using makeup remover around your eyes, and that you're also using makeup wipes to get off the excess of the makeup, and then going in with your cleanser and moisturizer and toner to fully clean your face. Because what a lot of times happens is that it stays into your pores, and then you start to break out, and then you decide to put more makeup on your face to cover it up, and then it's just this vicious cycle that just keeps going and going. When I started cleaning my makeup brushes, I was actually using baby shampoo, which is a very great option for it, but I actually just invested in the Sephora Collection Solid Clean Brush and Brush Cleaner. So this guy right here is actually a bar of soap that's on the inside, a pink bumpy silicone pad. And usually what happens is that I clean my brushes once a week, and my beauty sponge every time when I actually use foundation or contour, just so then it keeps it clean and then the bacteria doesn't come up on it. Tip number 6 is primer, and primer makes a huge difference. Whether you're applying it on your face or your eyes, it creates a layer so then your makeup sticks to it and it lasts longer, and then it's not bunching up and falling off towards the end of the day. Some of my favorite primers right now for my face is the Too Faced Hangover RX Primer. What I like about it is that it has coconut water and probiotic based ingredients and skin revivers, and then it also is silicone free, so whenever I put it on my face, it definitely feels really nice, and it keeps my face hydrated while I put the foundation on. And then my favorite eyeshadow primer is the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion, and I have the shade in Anti-Aging. Now, the Urban Decay Primer Potions, they now have about 4 to 6 different colors. So if you're looking for a more shimmery base, then they definitely have those ones, or you're just needing one to cancel out the veins, to cover up the veins on your eyelids, because sometimes that usually happens. They have one that has a skin color base to it as well. And what I like about this guy is that it keeps my eyeshadow in place and it keeps it vibrant all day, especially when I have been working all day and I just want to make sure that nothing gets a little gloopy underneath my lower lash line. So tip number 7 is makeup trends. And what I'm going to tell you is that you can try them out. Enjoy. Don't be afraid to try them. It's actually a lot of fun when there's like the summer and everything's all glittery and highlighty. That is really fun to do. And then as well as that, you get to try something new and it might actually be a part of your makeup routine. So don't be afraid to try them. Sometimes they're very ridiculous and sometimes they actually work out pretty well. Tip number 8 is eyebrows. And if you believe it or not, less is more. If you think about it this way, your hair frames your face, but then your eyebrows frame the eyes. So you don't need the Anastasia Beverly Hills pomade brow wiz to make them perfectly coiffed. There's a bunch of different eyebrow products that you can use based off what you need to frame your eyes, essentially. I have been very blessed with super nice eyebrows that do need some filling in because they are a little bit sparse, but the length of them, or as the Sephora lady called them, very nice volume. So some of my favorites and what I started out using for my brows is actually the Benefit Brow Zings in Light. And so this guy right here comes with a pomade and also a powder and then 2 little brushes and a tweezer. What I would do is that I would just take the powder, fill in my eyebrows, and then the pomade was used to kind of shape out the places. But what I realized was that I wanted more defined in the middle right here, starting at it, to make them a little bit more bold and a little bit more coiffed. And so I started to use Microbrow pencils. So one of my favorites that I use is the NYX Microbrow in Espresso. I essentially just fill in my brows and kind of create small like hairs on it, and then so I can create that really bold, sharp look on the starting of my brow in the middle of my forehead. What else I really like about it is that there is a spoolie brush on the other side, so if you make a mistake, you make something too harsh, you can just brush them out. But usually on my natural days, and I don't really plan to wear a lot of eye makeup on my eyes, I will actually just use a clear brow gel. And you can actually do this, or you can use a tinted brow gel, and what it does is that it just kind of grooms them, but then also gives them a little bit of color, so they look a little bit more well coiffed and groomed, and then it really brightens up the eyes, I find. But which comes into my tip number 9, which is please practice at home first. I cannot tell you how many times I've gone to work or to school or secondary school and college and try something completely new and people look at me really weird because sometimes it didn't work out the way I planned it to. So if you're trying something new, a new eye look, eyeliner, wing liner, a bold lip, please try it at home first, so then you can kind of see, play with it. Sometimes this also comes with the allergies part of it, so if you're trying a new foundation or a new concealer and you find out that you have an allergic reaction to it, that's good to know versus freaking out in the middle of class or during your shift and realizing that you're having hives going all across your face, or that you are having an allergic reaction from the new mascara you're having and your eyes just continue to water. With that being said, with practicing at home, what's also really great about it is that you hone in on the skill, so then in the morning when you're in a rush, you can just do it wing, bam, slam, and then you're good to go. And my tip number 10 is don't be afraid to ask for help. Yes, YouTube is very informative, and I'm so glad you're watching this video right now, but sometimes when you go to the makeup store, it can be really intimidating, so make sure you go out of that comfort zone just a little bit and ask for help. That's what the ladies and gentlemen are there to do. That is their job. They're not supposed to be there to make you feel intimidated or small or stupid because you come in there with no makeup on, you have no idea to start. Most of the times when I go makeup shopping, I don't wear any makeup, maybe a little bit of mascara and maybe a little bit of brow gel, but it's because if I'm going to try on stuff, I'm going to want to have a clean face and for them to put it on versus wiping off of it. And this comes to the next thing, is that if someone was helping you and you don't really agree what they're saying, you can just say, be very thankful, thank you kindly, but you can also ask for a sample. Case in point, when you're trying out new foundations, instead of buying a $60 foundation and not knowing if it's going to work for you or not, ask if you can get a sample to try it at home. I know the ladies at Sephora, they have no problem with it because they're there to give you a really great experience and to give you enough knowledge that when you try it at home, you can come back and know what you're wanting to purchase. I know this said it was 10 tips, but I'm actually going to give you a bonus one, which is tip number 11 is makeup is makeup. It is your expression, it is your everyday look, but you don't need it every single day because you're beautiful just the way you are, all natural, don't need anything like that, and so you should be taking care of yourself first before you put makeup on to conceal anything that you're either embarrassed about, self-conscious about, or ashamed of. So that is it for my top 10 tips for makeup beginners or makeup beginner enthusiasts. If you don't know who I am, my name is K-Lyn. I would really love it if you would like, comment, and hit that subscribe button for more videos. I make videos every Sunday or every other Sunday, depending on my work schedule. So I really love it if you come back here on a Sunday morning to check out what I've posted for something new. If you haven't already, please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle will show up somewhere on the screen right now, and it probably showed up in the beginning of this video. And please check out some of my previous videos. I do a lot of makeup tutorials. I also do a little bit of a Lush unboxing, and this is one of my first top 10 tips. So if you really like these ones, maybe comment down below another idea for top 10 tips, and I'll be more than happy to create it. Have a great day. See you guys later.